Ella were trapped by debt crises, orchestrated or exacerbated by global financial institutions. Central banks continue to print money, claiming to stabilize economies, while asset prices soar beyond the reach of ordinary citizens. The pattern is clear. The shadow network profits first, consolidates power second, and leaves governments and citizens to clean up the mess. And yet, because these manipulations are hidden in complex instruments, derivatives, swaps, securitized debt, they appear random to most observers. Only insiders understand the timing, the leverage, and the profit. Regulation, reforms, and oversight have all attempted to rein in these crises. Glass-Steagall, Dodd-Frank, Basel Accords, each designed to protect the public from systemic risk. But the network adapts. Complex financial products, offshore accounts, and shadow banking systems allow the connected to bypass rules entirely. Even cryptocurrency and decentralized finance tout. What if every market crash, every bank collapse, every debt crisis wasn't random? What if there was a hidden network, unseen, unaccountable, yet more powerful than any government, quietly steering the fate of economies and nations? The truth is, financial disasters are rarely accidents. They are engineered, carefully timed, and the same shadowy players profit every single time. This is the story of the invisible web that pulls the strings behind every crisis, and how it has been operating for centuries, shaping the world without ever being seen. To understand the network, we have to go back to the 17th century, the age of banks, trading companies, and the birth of modern finance. The Dutch East India Company in the early 1600s was the first multinational corporation issuing shares to the public. With shares came speculation, and with speculation came the first financial panic, the tulip mania. Prices soared, fortunes were made and lost overnight. Yet behind the chaos were merchants and financiers who profited at every turn, often insider trading before it even had a name. Across Europe, banking families learned a key lesson. Markets could be influenced, not just observed. If you controlled enough capital, you could steer panic and profit from recovery. By the 18th century, families like the Rothschilds were expanding across borders, building networks of information and influence that no single nation could match. They weren't just bankers. They were the architects of early global finance, able to anticipate wars, crashes, and currency collapses before the public even knew what hit them. The blueprint of the shadow network was simple: control information, control money, control outcomes. The 19th century transformed these networks from informal influence into structured systems. Central banks emerged, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, institutions ostensibly serving nations, but secretly entwined with private interests. Financial crises became a tool, not a consequence. Panic would hit markets, governments would intervene, and the connected few would buy assets at fire sale prices, then profit when stability returned. The 1929 stock market crash is the first modern example. While millions lost their life savings, insiders had access to credit, margin, and market intelligence, allowing them to profit from chaos. It wasn't just about making money. It was about building a system where power was self-reinforcing. Economies became the playground of those with the networks to survive every storm, and even shape it. By the late 20th century, globalization accelerated the shadow network's influence. Technology, international banking, and deregulation created a borderless playground for financial elites. The 1987 Black Monday crash saw markets plummet worldwide. Yet some hedge funds anticipated the collapse, making massive profits while average investors faced ruin. How? By exploiting information asymmetry, knowing more, faster, and acting before governments could respond. Then came the 2008 global financial crisis. Housing bubbles, derivatives, and subprime lending created a perfect storm. Banks were too interconnected to fail, yet the collapse wiped out trillions of dollars in wealth. Meanwhile, the network acted predictably. They shorted markets before collapses. They bought distressed assets at pennies on the dollar. They lobbied governments for bailouts, ensuring their capital survived while the public shouldered the risk. It wasn't conspiracy theory, it was system design. And it was repeated every time: panic, collapse, bailout, consolidation of wealth. Every crisis leaves the public weaker, governments indebted, and the network stronger. Consider these patterns. Post-2008, global wealth concentration skyrocketed. Billionaires doubled their fortunes while unemployment surged worldwide. Countries like Greece, Argentina, and Venezuela, as solutions to centralized control, are quickly integrated into the same networks. Exchanges, stablecoins, and tokenized assets now operate under the guidance of the same invisible hands. In short, the system is self-reinforcing. Crises are not anomalies, they are opportunities, and the network has learned to exploit each one while evading scrutiny. Today, the network is more sophisticated than ever. Algorithmic trading allows microsecond control of markets. Global debt exceeds $300 trillion, creating an endless supply of leverage. Central banks coordinate interventions across borders, yet always in sync with major financial institutions. Every market fluctuation, every recession, is now a potential profit center. And with digital currencies and programmable money on the horizon, the network's reach could extend into every transaction, every savings account, every investment. The repeating pattern is unmistakable. Asset bubbles inflate. Panic triggers a crash. The network profits and consolidates control. Public suffers. Cycle repeats. This isn't theory. It's history. Centuries of cause and effect, designed to perpetuate wealth and power in a hidden few. Lesson 1. Crises are not random. They are manipulated events, exploiting human psychology, information asymmetry, and systemic vulnerabilities. Lesson 2. The network thrives on opacity. Complexity and jargon are tools to hide influence, ensuring the public blames markets, not the manipulators. Lesson 3. Wealth and power are consolidated during crises. Every bailout, every stimulus, every recovery disproportionately benefits those who orchestrated or anticipated the collapse. Warning: this network isn't going away. Technology, digital finance, and global connectivity make it harder to see and harder to escape. Awareness is the first defense. Understanding the system is the second. If this video opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Study the mechanisms, track the patterns, and question who really benefits during every financial crisis. Share this video with others who need to see what's hidden in plain sight. Because the more people understand the network, the harder it becomes for it to operate in darkness. History repeats, but knowledge is the first step toward control. Your own control.